He makes the catch. Touchdown FSU.
Since 1979, the man who sits in this chair every Saturday has become family. Every big moment, every game-winning play, he gave them life and brought his listeners along for the ride. He just has that way of making you feel like you're sitting on the bleachers with 83,000 screaming Seminole fans. His signature phrase has just become legendary.
Touchdown FSU.
He's got more enthusiasm than anybody I know. He's got patented phrases, whirling dervish amongst them, that nobody else uses. And the one thing about Gino you can always count on, he will be prepared, and it can be the fourth teamer. He'll have something to say to make that mom and daddy proud that their son got into the ball game.
It's always been great getting in that booth and broadcasting Florida State football. Being in the booth, well, it's an office. It's where I go to work, and the preparation. Red Barber said once that preparation is 90% of sports broadcasting, and then inspiration's the other 10%. That was a little play on Thomas Edison, 90% perspiration and 10% inspiration. And it holds true in sports. The more prepared you are to do a broadcast, the easier it is, the more comfortable you are in your office place, and the better to tell the story about what's going on.
Deckerhoff's story will hit a milestone on Saturday evening against Virginia, as he'll take that normal spot in the radio booth to call his 400th game for the Seminoles. When you think of Florida State, you think of the voice, the passion, the enthusiasm, and the love that he has for the Noles.
He's just a great person. He's a high-energy guy, loves Florida State, loves everything about it. He's fun to be around. He truly loves it. The kids love him. They love hearing his voice, and they love hearing him say, touchdown Florida State.
Great guy, heart just as big as can be, never says anything bad about anybody, which was one of the things Coach Bowden always talked about when he explained Deckerhoff to others. And he's just a caring person that is much bigger than just doing ball games.
See, that's the great thing about Gene. He is how we connect with the Seminoles, and it's part of who we are as Seminole fans. Whether it's turning down the volume on Saturdays on the television and cranking up Gene on the radio, or driving down the road for a crucial fourth quarter drive, doting on every word he says, everyone has a story about Gene. But this story wouldn't be complete without letting Gene himself tell his fondest memories of the Seminoles.
Picked off by Coles is one of my favorite calls, because that was the interception against Florida in 1994 that enabled Florida State to come down, and then Rock Preston 3-2-1, touchdown, we tie Florida. And still, to me, one of my favorite games, always will be, even though it was a tie. Punt Ruski obviously has to be the #1 play of all time. It's one that put Bobby Bowden's Florida State Seminoles on the map in 1988, and that was a marvelous game. There were two highlights that I have on my top 10 list in that ball game. The second was Deion Sanders pointing to the Clemson bench, and you could hear him on the video replay, and he would say, "I'm taking this one back," and sure enough, he did. And when he crossed the end zone, he went down on a knee, said a prayer, and I think everybody in that one end zone to the right that had a cup in their hand were throwing it. It looked like it was a hailstorm coming out of that end zone.
400 games, and he's seen it all. From sitting next to Bill Peterson in the late 70s to the national championships, Heisman winners, he's been there. Yet Gene Deckerhoff is the one constant. We always know that voice will come through crystal clear on our radios.
Without Gene being around, I don't think Florida State football is complete. I mean, he is as big an ambassador for this program as Coach Bowden was, and probably anybody ever will be. He is Florida State.
Garnet's my favorite color, obviously, and garnet and gold looks good together. So, yeah, that is Florida State. Honored to be a member of the Florida State Athletic Hall of Fame, the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, and it's all because of my relationship with Florida State University. I am a Seminole. I will always be a Seminole, and I love saying touchdown Florida State.
If you know Gene, you know that the Seminole fans really do mean everything to him. After all, you are the reason he does broadcast the football games. So here's where we need you. On Friday, log on to our official Facebook page at Seminoles.com/Facebook. Share your best memory of Gene Deckerhoff, whether that's a play, a specific game, a great memory you have. We want to hear from you. Help us remember the years of great memories and why Gene is just the very best in the business. So from all of us here at Florida State, thank you, Gene, for making us feel like part of your family. I'm Scott Kodak reporting for Seminoles.com.